Mr. Olatuji Daniel, good morning. You're welcome. We are supposed to start now, but you are the only person we have on this Zoom. We crave your patience, please. We'll get to you. We give you the privilege of presenting first, being the first person that came here. So you have your presentation first. Please be ready for us. We'll take your presentation first. So we await other participants to join before we commence the presentation proper. But kindly bear in mind that you'll be the first person to present. Thank you. Dear Rumawa, and I can't do that. You should have told him. Closing ceremony, should be his dear that will come.
citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fed we are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fed so dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fed Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Fed giving the best on technical education, paving ways for discovery of talents, diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Fed so dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fed
Thank you. Good morning. I lost Mr. Olatunji. I hope he'll be back soon. Technical session will start in the next 1 minute, and we are still expecting more participants to join this conference. Mrs. Rashidat Buhari, I'm aware you are scheduled for the first presentation today, so we'll get to you, but I earlier promised Mr. Olatunji that he'll be the first presenter. So if he's not back online, we'll take your paper as soon as possible. Mrs. Rashida Buhari, please just be patient with us. Our participants are not here on Zoom, so the need for us to delay a little bit so that we'll have them. Thank you.
The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fed we are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fed of learning where great leaders are made. Faithfully we are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand, faithfully so dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Faithfully giving the best on technique education, paving with for discovery of talent, diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies, faithfully so dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully
Mr. Alatuji, please, you can unmute yourself and make your presentation. You can unmute yourself and make your presentation. You can unmute yourself as well as share your video and make your presentation, please, Mr. Alatuji. You can share some videos so that we can have your visuals as well. Go ahead.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, please. Mr. Alatuji, before you start your presentation, we rolled out a guide on what to talk to us about yesterday on the platform. I hope you comply strictly with those guidelines and make your presentation as snappy as possible. You only need your abstract or the synopsis of your presentation. That is what we expect you to give us. Then you have 7 minutes. Please, you can start now, please. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Olatunji Daniel, and the school I'm affiliated to is the Okeogun Polytechnic, Shaki. The topic of my paper is COVID-19 epidemic, impact on realization of Vision 2020. The introductory part, a sustainable society with enviable economic, physical, and social growth has been a paramount goal of majority of developing nations. Nigeria, without exception, in an attempt to achieve this goal, have set up a lot of development agendas, such as the Vision 2010, the development agenda, 7-point agenda, transformation agenda, and Vision 2020 to mention but a few. The aim of the paper is to assess and investigate the impact of COVID-19 emergence on realization of Vision 2020. The study is strictly employs secondary sources of data, which include literature reviews and investigations and some other statistics, economic statistics given by reputable organizations in the country. The study finds that the major issue, the major clog in the development of the realization of the vision prior to the emergence of the epidemic are poor leadership style, political instability, and corruption. Corruption has so much subjected Nigeria to a lot of stress in the face of realizing a lot of visions that have been pronounced before now, and it has made the reality of those visions a thing of dream and not coming to existence. Also, political instability. Every successive government doesn't want to work on the policies and recommendations of previous government, which in a way is causing a stop to most of the policies or recommendations that are ongoing. Then from there, the study concludes that global epidemic will no doubt aggravate the various economic and political challenges that could impede the realization of Vision 2020. This is very evident because for the first time since 2016 that Nigeria escaped from, we find ourselves in...
Can you please increase your volume so that we can hear you clearly? We're only hearing you from a distance. Kindly increase the volume so that we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Where I stopped was that the findings of the discussion, I was discussing the findings of the paper, and the paper finds that corruption, poor leadership style, and political instabilities are three major important out of others important issues that have subjected the vision to a void and make it not a reality. Because as at the time it was pronounced, Nigeria was at 31st in the globe, and as at 2020, Nigeria moved to 27th in the globe, with a strong economy. Then the paper concludes that the global epidemic will no doubt aggravate the various economic and political challenges that could impede the realization of Vision 2020. And aside the existing implication, the COVID-19 emergence has brought Nigeria back economically, because since 2016 that Nigeria entered into recession, that we had a very great drop, a sharp drop in our GDP. It was still repeated itself in first quarter of Nigerian GDP in 2020, which is as a result of the implication of the emergence of that epidemic in late 2019. Then the paper recommends, among others, that good governance is a prerequisite if Nigeria will have a vision or a target that will come to reality. And also, corrupt-free society is essential, because this is evidence. Most of the administrations that we have in Nigeria, they come up with policies to mitigate corruption in most of their programs. Like during the regime of President Olusegun Obasanjo, he came up with ICPC and EFCC. Then during the period of our president, the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, he came up with another policy to mitigate corruption in Nigeria. This is pointing to us that corruption is one of the factors that is creating issues to development and emergence of and actualization and realization of most of the visions that have been pronounced in the past. And lastly, planning. Planning is very vital. Planning now is not only at the face of economy, but planning to balance it should be physical, social, and economic. It is when these three are planned effectively that we can realize most of the visions that have been pronounced in the past. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olatunji Daniel. Before I will hand you over to the chairman of this technical session, I will like to introduce him. He is Dr. O.S. Omotosho Jr. He is the immediate past chairman of this committee in the School of Business Studies, and is currently the Dean of Student Affairs of the Federal Polytechnic. There is from Marketing Department. Let me officially welcome him to this technical session. And it's on this note that we actually hand you over to him to give observations and comments on your paper while you take note of it accordingly. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm on. Well, thank you very much. Good morning. Let me commend the presenter for a good work, and then I thank you for your good research work. But let me quickly make my observations. Well, in presentations like this, it's always better and easier for you to speak to your abstract. And I will start my observations from the abstract, and I think you are noting it. The seventh edition of the APA states clearly that now abstract should be double line spacing, not single line spacing. That is the latest now. And we have to take note of that. And you know, we don't have, we are not in control. They are in control. They have just taken that decision and it is in their 7th edition. On your keywords, the minimum should be 5. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 here. It should be 5 or 6. I also want to commend you for the topic, which is very relevant and current. You need to, before your literature review, I expect you to bring out the objective of this study clearly so that it will be clear to those who want to use this paper for policy analysis. The objective is there, but what I mean is I really want you to bring it out clearly so that when you are doing your conclusion, it will have a bearing on your conclusion. And that is why when I get to conclusion, I will make some statements. On your literature review, you follow all the rules guiding it. What we have observed in the 7th edition now, so that you are not confused, is just on the abstract. Possibly the other areas are still as in the 6th edition. So your literature review is in order. On your SOCs, I see source here under your Nigerian annual GDP, if I'm right, source session.com. The 2021 should be in brackets. I observed that the graph good, but not well explained. You need a little more explanation on the graph. Graph is relevant and is equally current. Then if you go to page 66 of the paper, you will observe that again in right double line spacing. What you are doing is 1.5 or less than 1.5. Please note that. Now on the conclusion, and it should be recommendations anyway. You look at that. That's on page 7. You have more than one recommendation, so it should be recommendations. Then your conclusion should be based, should be relevant, clearly relevant to your objective. And I want you to clearly say that. You state the objective. The conclusion should be a way of realizing whether you have actually realized the objective of presenting this paper or writing it. It's an academic paper. So the recommendations are in order. And some are not based on your, on your findings. Don't believe on what others are saying. Believe on what you have actually find out in the course of researching into this particular problem. Finally, the idea from page 1 of numbering, you said number 1, introduction. Number 2, problem statement. Where you say problem statement, I think it will have a statement of the problem too. Please note that statement of the problem is better. Numbering in an academic paper like this is not appropriate. So all those number 1, 2, 3, 3.4, 3.2, please remove them. You can title your table and graph. I not seen where the APA say we should be numbering. So please, that is what we are following. On this note, I want to thank you for a very good presentation, and then hoping that you will take note of those observations. The reference, finally, your reference is in perfect order. In terms of journal, book, and the rest of them, they're good. The reference is highly, commendable. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. Alatoji. We appreciate your effort, especially your title, very current. But I have the following comment, apart from the one being made by my senior colleague, Dr. Omotoso. Please, if you can move on to page 4 of your paper. Page 4. Are you there? Page 4. Okay, that page 4, table 3.1. Then title Nigeria annual GDP. This one, the one here is in line with the 6th edition of Harper Style. But currently, the 7th edition, there's a little modification to it. That table 3.1 will be typed in bold, and there's no need for a colon in front of it. And that title will appear under it, not in front of it again. And it will be in italics. That is the current APA, 7th edition. Then also, on page 5, are you there? Page 5, that graph, I will advise that you give it a title. Okay, maybe figure 1, then the title of that graph. And finally, where you have the conclusion and recommendation, why can't you separate it? Conclusion separately, and then your recommendation will follow. Thank you, Mr. Latunji, for the job well done.
Mr. Latunji, thank you very much. Now, I think you have noted all observations raised. Please, you can work on those observations, and then the paper can be returned for assessment and possible publication in the next edition of our journal. Thank you. God bless you. I'll take the next person. I'll take here is Buhari R.O. And Mrs. Buhari is supposed to present a paper titled Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Distribution Strategies and Consumer Satisfaction in Manufacturing Industries. Then a case study of flour mills, Nigeria. Mrs. Buhari, you can unmute yourself, share your video, and start your presentation. While I remind you that there is a guide we have posted on our WhatsApp platform. Please ensure that you actually follow the guide so that we'll maximize our time. You have 7 minutes. You can share your video and start your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's okay. Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. I want to share my slide, but I was unable to.
Okay. Go ahead and share your slide now. Go ahead and share your slide, please.
All right. Still unable.
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
You can share your slide now, please. Go ahead. Please talk to your people in the next 6 minutes, please.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to stand with the existing protocol. My name is Buhari R.O. Mrs. from Department of Marketing, Federal Polytechnic, Ede. I'm here to make a presentation on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on distribution strategy and consumer satisfaction in the manufacturing industry. I use Flour Mill Nigeria as my case study.
Mrs. Buhari, please go ahead. We can have your audio, please. You can go ahead, please. I believe you're having challenges moving your slide. You can have a click. That's the slideshow. You can click, it will go to the next page.
Okay. Introduction. Introduction. COVID-19. COVID-19 is a popular name worldwide, which affected all business of life globally. Distribution strategy is a strategy or a plan to make a product or a service available to the target consumer through its supply chain. Consumer are the end user of a product, of a company product. Satisfaction is the fulfillment or the desire or wishes. The research problem. The problem of distribution strategy usually defective due to the advent of COVID-19 lockdown. Most countries now in recession due to the advent of COVID-19 pandemic. The IMF estimates that the global economy shrunk down by 4.4% in 2020. The organization described the decline as the worst since Great Depression of 1930. The only major economy that grew in 2020 was China, which registered a growth of 2.3% in January 2021. The lack of skill and expertise and unavailability of reliable and accurate information on the side of managers, which leads to poor forecast and formulation of ambiguous goal and objective. There is a need to investigate the impact of this COVID-19 pandemic on distribution strategy and consumer satisfaction of flour mill Nigeria branches in Oshogbo, Osun State. The objective of the study is to examine the association between the advent of COVID-19 pandemic, distribution strategy and consumer satisfaction of flour mill Nigeria products in Oshogbo. Also to examine the association between customer services of flour mill Nigeria and customer satisfaction of Oshogbo before and during the lockdown. Research methodology. My study area is Oshogbo, Osun State. I use a descriptive research design to investigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on distribution strategy of product and service, and also the effect of this pandemic on the firm performance, most especially the consumer satisfaction. Population of the sample, I use 60 flour mill Nigeria manufacturing consumer and retailer in Oshogbo, Osun State. Result and discussion. The demographic here is talking about the gender of the customer that is patronizing the organization. We have about 73% of the customer who are female and 27% are male. We still have the correspondent one, which is the marital status. We have about 56% who are married, patronizing the product, and single are just 31.4%. The educational background, we could see that about 60.8% are secondary school leaver or certificate holders are patronizing the organization more than other degree. Product service and COVID-19 impact. Duration of being customer to the organization, we have some about 1 to 3 years that have been patronizing the organization, that is about 42%. We have some that about 3 to 5 years that have been patronizing the organization. Also, the level of satisfaction before the COVID-19 pandemic, we have about 30% of the customers that said that the products were very useful. And also we still have some set of people who said the products were reliable. None of the customer complained about the poor quality of the product, which shows that the flour mill Nigeria products are of high quality. Product service and COVID-19 impact. We want to look at how the flour mill Nigeria are distributing their products from the point of production to the point of purchase. Here they are distributing to the supply or the wholesaler directly. That is about 35% of their products are being supplied to the wholesaler, while we have a retailer to have about 19.4%, and the registered agents are able to get 32.4%. Yeah. So the organization are supplied through the distribution channel. They did not sell directly to the private individual. Consumer service and consumer satisfaction. We want to look at the flow of products during the COVID. There was a destruction because about 73%.
Mrs. Buhari, sorry to observe you, please. You have
Yes,
less
sir.
than 2 minutes. Can you please
Yes, sir.
summarize the remaining part of your
sir.
presentation? Let us have your findings, conclusion, and recommendations, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The products were disrupted, and this leads to the increase in price of the products. We still have some that are satisfied about the products. In conclusion, about 73.4% of the customer and distributor agreed that the product availability and distribution were greatly affected in Oshogbo. This leads to the scarcity of the products, and the increase in price also came up. We still have about 86.7% of respondents which believe that there was an increase which affect the value for money and also reduce the customer satisfaction. The flour mill Nigeria are well-recognized products among consumable goods in Oshogbo for over 5 years. Then 50% of the respondents agree that the flour mill Nigeria understand the needs of consumer and provide quality service to the consumer before, during, and after the COVID-19 lockdown. Recommendation: the flour mill Nigeria must work harder to improve their distribution strategy and frequently updated with the needs of the customer to understand their needs in order to meet the needs and add to the value of their product during and after COVID-19 lockdown. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Mrs. Buhari. I think, fortunately, you have a good chair on this panel to make observation on your papers. I think you have a good contribution to properly make the paper to be more robust and articulate in nature. Let me, on this note, hand you over to Dr. Motosho to make his observation while you make a note on the observations raised.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, Mrs. Buhari, let me commend you for your courage to present this paper and for your efforts in this type of research. I hope you are with your pen. Please, I want to start from the topic. The topic is too wide. You said the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the distribution strategies and consumers. Before you finish reading the topic, I've almost forgotten where you are going. So let's reframe it to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the distribution strategies of a manufacturing company, not industry. The industry is bigger than the factory. You have many factories under the industry. You are specific here, you are dealing with flour mill. So let us use of a manufacturing company. And that case study of flour mill will be relevant. That is the first thing. The second thing is that you refuse to page the paper. We expect you to page it, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the end. Is that clear? Is that taken? Good. On your abstract, your content, the content of the abstract is good. But the latest APA, which is the 7th edition of the APA now, has actually brought out a new style. And that new style is that your abstract should no longer be single line spacing, but double line spacing. Should be double line spacing henceforth. You know, not single line spacing again. That's the latest from the 7th edition. Is that taken? For the content of the abstract, it is fairly okay, but you know, you need to, you said the price increases affected this and that. All you need to do is, in the abstract, tell us for the purpose or the objective of the study, the methodology you adopted, and then bring out your findings a little, and then conclude on 1 or 2 of the recommendations. That is that. I mentioned pages. Then you number 1, 2, 3, introduction 1, aims and objectives 1, and so on and so forth. Cancel the numbering. You don't need to number them. 3 or 4. Now, you under objectives, you say aim and objectives of the study. Fine. You said other specific objectives are, instead of repeating to, 1, to, 2, to, 3, to, just say other specific objectives are to put a column, and then 1, examine, and so on. 2, examine, and so on. And then 3, the objective is 2. That is 2 minimal. Should be a minimum of 4. Then I observe generally the organization of this paper is poor. Really, I'm sorry I have to use poor now because you start with significance, you went to result of findings and methodology, you went to demographics. Please, you need to organize this paper in a sequence that is more, publishable. Objectives of the study, statement of the problem. If you want significance, you put it. And your methodology should be more explicit. What I see here is, we've changed the topic, we've amended the topic a bit. We are dwelling more on industry than the factory itself or than the company itself. You should do that. And then your methodology should tell us, how you collected your data, from whom, how many, and then how you analyze it. You move straight to result of findings. That baffles me because the analysis have not been stated before. But you move to findings. Your findings should actually be based on your test and analysis. Then you went to demography. Demographic analysis here, as good as they are, should have come before this particular place. But, since it's you, we'll see and talk about all that. And that's why I said the organization has to be more for a journal publication, And then you went to product services and the rest of them. There's a table here, level of education of correspondence. You didn't put the source. We need the source. Then duration of being consumer. Most of the things you brought out in this paper are very relevant. The only problem is the sequence, the arrangement. And the arrangement will help you to flow, to flow properly in a way that your recommendations will not be based on your objectives and findings. Then you said consumer level of satisfaction before COVID-19. Very good graph there, nice one. And then, but you actually did not give us the explanation that back it up. So please note that. The same thing with your figure 4.4. Then distribution products, stroke services flow as a result of COVID-19. Good. Again, the source of your, as we've been talking since now, you have not actually told us, talk about literature review. It's practically omitted. And that's what I mean by proper organization. So you need to, most of the things you are putting under all this graph and the rest will have come under, your literature review. And that will have made the paper more robust. Then that said, let's go to your conclusion and recommendation. Fine. Now, if there is no literature review, you didn't bring out the statement of the problem clearly. Your objectives are stated. You didn't analyze. Literature review will enable you to analyze properly, to dwell into your objective, and then bring out facts that are happening and what other authorities have said about this, your topic, and then take bearing from them and make your own comments, that will have helped you under your conclusion. So you need to add literature review, and then you need to develop a very good sequence of writing papers. And based on that, your conclusion will now be based on the objective and some comments from your literature review. Your recommendations, as good as it's there, is current and relevant. But the fact remains that you have not based it really on your findings. Your finding is jammed. And then that organization you pick as your case study to serve as a reference point for you to generalize, all over. So this paper now, we didn't see the your citations, your citations are missing because literature review is missing. But generally, I commend you for a good effort and a very courageous way of presenting paper. Then your reference, we need to work on your reference seriously. We need to work on your reference seriously. Good effort. but we need to work on the reference seriously to meet the latest edition of the APA. Madam, thank you very much for your presentation.
Do we have any comments or observation from the participant too? We have comments or observation from the participants. You can actually. This is Wari. I think you have noted all the observations raised. You can actually correct your papers in that order so that we can actually take it for assessment for possible publication in the next edition of our journal. I think the next person to make presentation now is Geya Emmanuel Philly, but as a matter of surprise, I am seeing a woman or a lady, I don't know, I don't want to offend you. I'm seeing a woman or a lady, I don't know if, Madam, good morning. You can please connect your audio. We could not have your audio. You can join the audio on your computer. You can join audio on your computer so that we can have your audio. We have your visuals clearly, but we cannot have your audio. Can you please quickly work on that so that we'll take your paper now? The audio is not there. I should not be able to hear me. Madam, can you hear me? If you can hear me, kindly nod, please. Make a communicate visually. If you can hear me, you can give a nod that you can hear me. If she's a movie, she's in room. Madam, please, if you can, Madam, please, if you can hear me, you can actually, where you have your audio, you can just click join audio and you join audio on your computer or on your browser. When you do that, we'll be able to have you. With this, I'm sure you are using your phone to make connections. This cascade I could see here is depicting you are making use of your phone to connect to this conference. So if that is the case, you can just click on the phone, on the baseline of the phone, join audio. Yes, I can see your audio is connected now. Now, I was thinking to have your audio. The audio is still not yet connected. It's still not yet connected. Yeah, it is connecting now, but it's not successful. The connection is not successful.
If it is not in text, according to Hunger,
good morning. How are you? Charlie. And tí pépà yẹn bá bọ́ sọ́wọ́ ẹni tí ò mọ̀, sorry, tí pépà yẹn bá bọ́ sọ́wọ́ ẹni tó mọ̀ bí irú ẹni ìwà àyàbẹ̀ àwọn àbí wà, wàhálà ni o. Long thing you go my just I get in the you get what I'm saying? You are conversant with it. People are about to people want to call around. See what then typical you are about to see what then you can no, anything more. This is the latest. You abide by it. I will wrong it.
Mr. Dunami McJackson. Mr. Dunami McJackson, please, can we actually take you now? Mr. Dunami McJackson, can we take you pending the time that will actually solve issues with Madam Geya? Mr. Dunami McJackson, can we take you now? If we can take you now, kindly unmute yourself, share your video, let us take you now. Mr. Dunami McJackson, kindly share your video, let us take you now.
Hello, thank you, moderator, for having me. I hope you can hear me, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right. My name is McJackson Dumani. I'll be making a presentation on behalf of 4 others on the title, Unemployability of Nigerian Graduates, the Effect of Tertiary Institutions Industry Disconnect. Now, one of the stiffest challenges facing the average Nigerian graduate is getting a job that matches their academic qualification. This could be as a result of inadequate jobs, low economic activities, and/or inadequate curriculum content. The latter causes lack of skills and competencies required by employers, thus causing the problem of graduate unemployability in Nigeria. Now, the objectives of this study are: 1, to align the alignment of tertiary institutions' curriculum content with workplace needs, impact of educational content on workplace readiness of graduates, disconnect between tertiary institutions and industry, distinctive competencies and skills needed in the labor market. The methodology, data for the study was sourced from online survey. 55 respondents completed the questions. Method of analysis, we use the binary logit regression technique to analyze the data that we collected for the study. Now, the results of the study are based on the objective. Number 1, the estimates indicate that practical skills was positive but insignificant, while industrial training and workplace and workshop were both positive and significant in aligning the curriculum content with the workplace needs of employers. Number 2, still in line with the objective, the logit estimates indicate that grade point average and point of qualification and type of qualification were negative and bear insignificant effects on educational content and workplace readiness. The estimates further show that ICT skills and additional certification have a positive and significant effect on educational content and workplace readiness. Number 3, the estimates suggest that there is a 54% chance that employment matches the degree acquired. The estimates also indicate that the coefficient of practical skill is negative and insignificant, while industrial work experience is an eligible link, between tertiary institutions and industry. Number 4, the results suggest that ICT and additional certificates marginally increases employability by 32% to 40% and 15.5% to 27.9% respectively. Work experience was found to be a driver of employability by 6.4%. Now, the conclusion of the study is that the study concludes that practical skills, industrial training / workshop, and additional or professional certificates are significant factors that can enhance the link between institutions of learning, the demand of the labor market, and graduate employability in Nigeria. The recommendations of the study are that there are quite many, so I'm going to read out 2. that regulators of tertiary institutions should integrate industry needs into the educational curriculum. This will help expose students to skills and competencies required in the workplace. Number two, that there is the need for a policy to regulate the relationship between industry and tertiary institutions. This may help bridge the gap between the two groups. Number three, that supervised industrial work experience should form a basic part of our educational curriculum. This may enable students to practice and have first-hand experience in the workplace. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Matt Jackson. I think let me quickly hand you over to the chairman of this session to make comments on your paper. Chairman, please, you can go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mark Jackson Duman, presenting for about 3 others. Thank you for your presentation. I want us to I've looked at the content of your paper, and I've seen that you dwell more on the economy and the productivity as it affects graduate unemployability. Now, if our graduates are unemployable, it is based on so many factors you have analyzed there, and that is commendable. So the topic, I think you need to review the topic. I suggest something here for you. The effect of employability of Nigerian graduates on the economy. That captures everything you are saying. And I think that will make it more specific, that will make it more direct, and then you'll be able to give us better recommendations that government may actually implement. That is one. Two, the abstract. I hope you are with your pen, sir. The latest edition, that is the 7th edition of the APA now, specifies that our abstract should always be double line spacing now, not single line spacing again. Are you with me?
Yes, sir, noted.
It should be double line spacing. It is the latest one. And you know these academics, we don't do it. It is the American Psychological Association. And as a developing country, we have not got our own, dynamic style that the world can copy. So as we are talking now, we are just copying their own style. And it's unfortunate. I was just discussing with my dean here. They change this style, this APA style regularly, and it's affecting academic publications. But the latest one now, please notice, is double line spacing for abstract, not single line spacing again. And all your presentation, all your writing should be double line spacing.
Noted,
3
sir.
or 4. There is no need for you to number 1.0 and the rest 1.0, 2.0, all those numbering. There is no need for it. Introduction, perfectly presented. And like I said, you dwell more on the economy and even the global economy than what you actually, than the industry you are talking about. I know the industry is part of the economy. Your literature review is another. And I think the only thing is it has to be double line spacing. I must confess that the organization of this paper is very good. Your content is good. The methodology is all right. And then I salute your data. The data are in order. It's just that on page 6, I didn't see the source. Possibly it's because it's typographical error. Please note that you need to put the source. And then the explanation based on your on the data is perfectly okay. Your tables are in order. And then possibly because you want to save time now, you are using single line spacing to be double line spacing. Then that said, apart from the numbering, I've mentioned the numbering. The study makes the following recommendations. I didn't see your, the objectives of this paper, as good as they are not clearly stated. Please state the objectives clearly, possibly immediately after the introduction. That will assist your conclusion and recommendation. Although you put everything together, your conclusion will be better separated from the recommendations. Of course, your recommendations, the recommendations are in order, and some are based on your findings, while some are based on the general opinion of the people. I want you to restrict yourself to your findings only. The graduates should endeavor to acquire additional and professional certificates to enhance that is general, it's good. But then base your recommendations mainly on your analysis, what you find out. Now your reference, perfect. Reference is good, and I commend you for that. It is only again that the latest edition says we have to use, double line spacing. In all, like, let me take your, as an example. Again, let me say this before I give the example. Your reference should be on a separate page, not part of a page. I have said it, you are trying to save space. It should be on a separate page. That's one. Two, look at your reference number 1, at Egypt. Good, well presented. But the 7th edition is saying all these second, third, and fourth line should be double line spacing. No more single line spacing. I think that's the latest. I've told you we don't have control over it. We just abide by what they say. Mr. Mark Jackson, it's my pleasure to commend you for a very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, Doctor, for those observations. I hope, Mr. McJackson, I hope you have actually taken note of all the observations raised for necessary corrections, so that at the end of the day, you make those corrections, you send the paper back for assessment and possible publication in the next edition of our journal. Thank you very much. Mrs. Geya, can we have your attention now? Mrs. Geya, please, we will take you as soon as you resolve the audio. I already dropped a message for you on the chat box. You can go ahead and see that you can get the audio from us. While we wait, we'll take Mr. Surajuddin. Mr. Surajuddin, you can actually unmute yourself and make your presentation, please. You have 7 minutes. Kindly take cognizance of the guide we rolled out earlier in making your presentation, because we need an abridged version of your presentation so that we can maximize our time. You can start now, please.
Good morning, everyone. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. My name is Surajuddin Ahmed Okoyemi from Federal Polytechnic at the Library. I'm presenting on libraries and education in Nigeria. The paper is prepared by me and 3 other people. The paper dissected these conceptual clarifications, functions, and services of library, and explicitly discussed the vital role that libraries play in education. It emphasizes the fact that library is one of the education facilities required to achieve sound education at any level of schooling system in Nigeria. The introduction. The word library is a concept that have variously defined by different scholars depending on the framework of their perception, as well as the use the use they make of it. Some sees it as a place where information resources are acquired, organized, preserved, and provide immediate access to content of the information sources to its user, while others see it as a repository of knowledge, mind of society, and a live depository of a cultural past and sustainers of the intellectual activities that anticipate the future. Education. Education, as defined by Astley 2009, is a system of formal teaching and learning as conducted through schools and other institutions. It is a process of imparting and acquiring knowledge through teaching and learning, especially at school or similar institutions. In the same vein, the national policy on education in Nigeria describes it as instrument par excellence for effective national development. However, education has been described as the process for development of the totality of the individual, intellectual, physically, socially, morally, spiritually, and
please kindly talk to your paper, please, so that we'll maximize our time. You have less than 3 minutes more.
So here I have the function of I want to display it. I have my own project. I've projected it, as in I've done the PowerPoint project, but my system is not connecting. So that's the reason why I'm reading it out of the system, sir. So the functions of the library: the collection and preservation of information resources, the organization of information resources, the dissemination of information resources. The library services: provision of information and documentation services on demand, provision of information services in anticipation. Library and education, which is the main cause of the paper. It is symbiotic coexistence. According to Bessie and Adio 2017, the symbiotic coexistence relationship between library and education started as far back as ancient time, when monks wrote repeatedly in scriptorium, rooms in monastery are set aside for manuscript writing, to preserve and accumulate the result of their thoughts on what later become large libraries and were solely devoted to monks' education for spiritual advancement. Education and libraries are noted to be two inseparable and indivisible concepts. Both being basically related in a symbiotic coexistence, there is an intimate and inseparable relationship between the role of library and education. Okezi 2015 viewed the relationship between the role of libraries and education are similar to that between research and publication.
Can you please wrap up? Tell us your findings, conclusion, and recommendations, please. Tell us your findings, conclusions, and recommendations. Thank you.
So my conclusion: the library is an agent of education, which make library in school, college, polytechnics, university, among other educational institutions, to be an integral part of such institution and committed to effective and quality education. Libraries provide a variety of documentation and information services free or almost free of cost to users of different backgrounds, thereby giving equal opportunities and help in the actualization of pursuing constructive education.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. Let me quickly hand you over let me hand you over to the chairman for observations. You can get a pen and take note of those observations while he make them. The chairman, sir, over to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Surajuddin Hamid Opeyemi. I must commend you for your courage to present this paper and for your interest in research work, libraries and education in Nigeria. Please, this is too wide a topic that you cannot cover in a day, in a month. You can't cover all this area in this paper. We expect you to present like 13 or 14 pages. So when you say libraries and education in Nigeria is too wide, please try to get a more specific topic, like possibly, the importance of library in Nigeria, or possibly the problems, or possibly the impact of library on students, or something very specific. please, this topic is too wide and I don't want to classify it as big, but it's too wide that you will not know the beginning, you will not know where to end. So please, that is the first observation. Now, I equally want to advise you, please. I want you to be conversant with the APA, writing strategies. It is the APA that guides us, and you have all sorts of editions. We are on the 7th edition now. So as a researcher, you must grasp all the details. In fact, as a person who is in the library, you should be authority in research writing. And the only guide you have is that APA, document. We are on the 7th edition now. You can go and look at the 6th edition and then, download the 7th edition and see all the styles, all the methodologies, all the rules and regulations guiding writing there. That will help you a lot. Now, based on the 7th edition, the abstract should be double line spacing here like you have done here. Very good. If it were before, it was single line spacing, but it is now double line spacing. So you are in order. Apart from the fact that you don't need to italicize everything you have written under abstract. It should be written straight, not italicized. That's that. And then two, generally, I observe that the organization of this paper is not does not assist you to actually bring out all the things you want to bring out. Papers have standard organizations that you can use. After the introduction, you do the objective of the study. Are you with me? You do the objective of the study. You do the statement of the problem. You go into the methodology. After that's where all your data are presented and the rest of them. Then you are supposed to do your literature review immediately or after the introduction if you like. This paper has no literature review. In other words, it does not bring out your citation ability, and we need to know what others have said about what you are writing. And then before we now see your own commentaries, what authorities have said, what authorities have postulated on your paper, is very important. And that is the essence of literature review. Apart from that, it shows whether you know how to really cite authority using the APA method. So all those are lacking. And those areas I've given to you will help you until you now get to findings and then, conclusion and recommendation. You understand? Findings, conclusion, and recommendation. So you have put all the content of the paper. All your contents are relevant, but there's a purpose of it from page 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 to 11 to 11 as opposed to be under literature review. And that literature review will be robust if you put it. Then after that, you now tell us your findings, then you tell us your conclusion and recommendation. And again, as a researcher, you should know that your conclusion has to be very relevant to your objectives, which you did not state in this paper. So, and then your conclusion too, should be very, very relevant to what you are saying. Then, based on your findings now, which you must have brought out, under your analysis after methodology, you must have gathered data, interviews of people and the rest, then you will not be able to write recommendations that are relevant to the topic you have spoken and to the data you have gathered and to the test you have carried out. That's that. Then on the reference, your reference is totally wrong. One, we don't number references. You don't number it. You only make them on alphabetical order. APA specifies alphabetical order. You did it alphabetically, but you don't need to number it. So you remove all the numbering. Then you have to go and study the APA style of referencing. Most of the things you wrote under your reference here are wrong. Please, you go and correct it, or you try to see somebody in your department who is conversant with this style of writing. It will guide you properly. When I say it is wrong, or I say it's poor, please don't be angry. It is just to let you know and to encourage you. And after second, third trying, you realize that you just become an expert. Every style here is wrong. There is a way we write it. Somebody will guide you. And when you pick the APA yourself, you will be well guided yourself, because I can observe that you are very intelligent, you speak good English, and you have good content. So on this note, I want to commend you for your presentation and advise you to follow the corrections and see somebody in your department who can guide you better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Surajuddin. I hope you have actually taken all observations raised. You have noted them down for possible corrections. And when you do, kindly turn the paper in for assessment and possible publication in the next edition of our journal. Thank you very much. We appreciate your participation. God bless you. The next paper I'll take now, I'm still having challenges with Madam Geya over here. Madam Geya, I'm afraid you cannot hear me, but if you can, there is, yes, I can see you are connecting to your audio now. Just press call over the internet, then we will have your audio. As the audio is connecting, you just press call over the internet, then we will have your audio. Press call over the internet, then we will have your audio. While you do that, I'll be back to you. Let me take the papers of Dr. Fajimi. Dr. Fajimi, you can unmute yourself and make your presentation, please. Dr. Fajimi, you can unmute yourself and make your presentation. You have 7 minutes, please, Dr. Fajimi. Kindly unmute yourself and make your presentation. Thank you.
All right,
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, sir. I'm Fajimi James Akelulu, presenting a paper titled Poverty Reduction Through Social Investment Programs in the State of Nigeria, Success or Failure. Introduction. Human beings are born the same, but not blessed the same. Poverty is not desired by any human being, as nobody prefers to be suffering. Everybody needs financial and material resources to be able to live decent life. Poverty, as we know, is a situation caused by inefficiency of material and financial resources to live decent life. Poverty can be man-made or caused by circumstances beyond human control. When poverty is man-made, anytime people see anybody suffering from poverty, the belief is that that person is not hardworking, that's what has led to his problem. But that is not the case. It is not only human beings that suffer from poverty. Even a whole nation can suffer from poverty when enough of resources cannot be obtained. Now, nations of the world are taking steps to curb poverty, not because it is not just for people to see government as working, but because of the effect of poverty on economic growth. Poverty is a social problem. Social problem in the sense that it affects many people. It is not like individual problem that affects just individual. The burden of social problem is on two or more people, even to the society at large. Nations of the world are trying to curb poverty because of its effect on people. Poverty can make the person suffering from it to take any step to be out of that problem, whether legal or illegal. There are illegal ways of going out of poverty, like if somebody suffering from poverty take to kidnapping, stealing, armed robbery, and some other social crime. For social crime, it is not only the individual that bears the burden, but the entire nation that bears the burden. Because of the situation in Nigeria, right from independence, past administrations are taking steps to curb poverty. They are taking steps, starting from the time of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa introduced farm settlements during his time because poverty was attributed to lack of focus on agriculture. General go on, in its own case, liberated rural area on the belief that if rural areas are made to be okay for people to live, the high rate of rural urban migration will stop, and that even food production will be enhanced. During the military era of Obasanjo, he introduced OFM. Sagari also to introduce green revolution for food production, because that time poverty was attributed to lack of sufficient food. Babangida, in his own administration, introduced a number of measures to curb poverty, like structural adjustment program carried out to turn Nigeria to industrialized nation, to provide a job. National Directorate of Employment was also one of the Babangida's efforts. Directorate of Food, Road and Rural Infrastructure was also set up by Babangida administration to open up rural area just to minimize poverty. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua concentrated on 8 millennium development goals. The Northern administration, in his own case, gave regular directive to CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, to curb inflation. The belief was that if the amount of money in circulation was not too much, the rate of inflation will go down, and the little income people are having will be sufficient.
Can we have
to live
an
decent life.
version of the rest of the papers, please? Can you please summarize the remaining part of the paper so that we can maximize our time? Thank you, sir.
Okay. In Osun State, social investment programs like N-Power Agric, N-Power Health, N-Power Technet, N-Power Tax, Conditional Cash Transfer, Homegrown School Feeding Program, OYES, Osun State Youth Employment Scheme, Osun Chicken, and so on were introduced. The purpose was to bring down poverty in the state, to create job for people. I carried out this study in Osun State because it is in Osun State area that social development program was majorly carried out. Now, out of 250 questionnaires I distributed, 232 copies were completely filled and distributed, and returned, which make a response rate to be 92.4. On the extent to which social investment program help to alleviate poverty in Osun State. Programs like N-Power Agric, N-Power Health, N-Power Teaching, N-Power Tax, contribute well to poverty elevation in Osun State. Likewise, conditional cash transfer, homegrown school feeding, and some other ones, except for only one, public work brigade, that did not contribute so much to poverty elevation in Osun State. And I discovered that part of the factors hindering effectiveness of social investment program as poverty alleviation strategy are policy inconsistency, then poor commitment on the part of the agency in charge, insufficient financing from government, then corruption and dishonesty. Leaders are not no problem. Corruption and dishonesty, political influence. People, the beneficiary of most of this program were selected on the basis of their political affiliation. Then discrimination. Tax rate is also contributing to, because with high tax rate, the beneficiary of all these programs are not feeling the impact so much. Inflation rate is also another one that has affected social investment program in Osun State. The conflict of interest. The people in charge of the administration of this program, they are so selfish that part of the resources are being squandered. Likewise, inadequate infrastructure. Now, the study generally revealed to me that state government undertook many social investment programs with a view to reducing the level of poverty among the jobless youth and adults in the state. The factor considered to have hindered Some of the programs from achieving the desired purpose include policy inconsistency and others, as I have said. In conclusion, social investment program is good if it can be properly carried out and they are capable of reducing poverty. They serve as way of providing short-term employment for people that are engaging in social crime. In Osun State, there is high rate of social crime, and that's why during the period of Aregbesola, he started taking steps. Part of the step is this social investment program before other states in the nation emulated Osun State. States like Nasarawa, Kano, and Jigawa copied so much of what we did in Osun State. But the problem with this program in Osun State was that immediately after Aregbe administration, most of these programs were stopped and could no longer be carried out. So, for recommendation, government has a lot of work to do to make this thing to work. One of it is that normal financing to be provided, enough money should be provided to continue with the program. Then, people in charge should do away with corrupt practices and dishonesty. Tax and inflation rate to be controlled so that people will not continue to suffer. Government is paying them, but they can still continue to suffer with high rate of tax and high rate of inflation. Then the program should be properly designed at the beginning, unlike what happened in the last one. All internal and external factors that will hinder performance should be taken into consideration. Then accountability is another thing that is needed. Accountability is another thing that is needed for the program to be properly carried out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fajimi, for that wonderful presentation. I think I did not want to be biased. That was why I told you you have 7 minutes, because I've been given 7 minutes to participate. It is on this note
thank you, sir.
we'll hand you over to the chairman of this technical session to actually make observations. You can actually take a pen to note them down.
Okay, sir.
The chairman, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fajimi, for a very good presentation. And
yes, sir.
I'm trying to mind my word. I say for a very good presentation. Your presentation is very good.
Okay,
the
sir.
only problem I have
only that I don't have enough time.
Is that you have taken 20 pages.
Brother, sir.
20 pages is too much, sir. Help us reduce it to 14
yes,
or 13 pages. So you need to do a very good summary of the paper and make sure all the salient points are there.
Yes, sir.
But you shouldn't go beyond 40,
okay.
Maximum 15 pages. 20 pages is too wieldy, please. The topic is very specific.
Okay, sir.
And is in order.
Okay,
the
sir.
latest APA, sir.
Okay, sir.
7th edition of the APA. Disagree with your abstract.
Yeah.
Content of the abstract is very good.
Okay, sir.
But the style is wrong now.
Yes, sir.
You'll be surprised to hear now that the 7th edition says the abstract should be double line spacing, no more single line spacing.
Okay.
Please note that, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Spacing,
okay, sir.
No more single line spacing. And finally, on abstract,
okay, sir.
You don't need to italicize it. It should be written just the way you write the other, just normal standard. The standard.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Italicize.
Okay, sir.
That is, the background is okay. Your citation is okay.
Yes, sir.
Under page 3, statement
yes,
of
sir.
problem will be statement of the problem. Statement of the problem. I think
okay.
That's then I'm so happy you conceptual review, the concept of poverty. It makes the paper more robust.
Okay, sir.
Poverty as
yes,
a
sir.
social problem. All those are good. Causes of poverty.
Okay, sir.
Causes there.
Okay, sir.
And off will be separated. Then the empirical review is equally good. I can see a lot of current citations,
Okay, sir.
which are very normal. And then you equally added the
Okay.
theoretical review. Doctor, thank you for that. Your
Yes, sir.
methodology too is specific and
Yes, sir.
direct to what you are researching into. And
Okay.
I'm at home
Okay,
with your
sir.
findings and your style of writing
Yes, sir.
there. So the
Okay, sir.
other area I want to commend is your recommendations, which you numbered.
Okay, sir.
It should be in paragraphs. That's all. You don't need to number
Okay.
it, just
Okay.
paragraph by paragraph. Sir. Then,
right,
again, for a paper of this magnitude, even though you expose your objective one way or the other in the course of writing, please,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
you can help us put
Yes, sir.
objective of the study as a subhead so that
All right, sir.
readers can really know, the basic objective of the paper. Finally,
All right, sir.
I want to commend you for your reference, which is very good too. It follows the normal APA now, even though before it would
Okay,
have been
sir.
wrong based on the 6th edition, but based on the 7th edition now, it's wrong. You know, the 6th
Yes, sir.
edition allows you to do reference, like the first reference. If it has 2, 3 lines, then the second, third, and fourth line should be single line spacing. But the latest edition is now saying everything should be double line spacing. So your reference is in order, perfectly in order. Dr. Babi,
Okay,
I want to commend you for a job well done. This is a good paper. But please help us reduce the number of pages to 14 or maximum 15, including reference. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm grateful.
Thank you too.
Dr. Faji, thank you for your presentation. I hope you have taken note of all the observations raised, and it is hoped
yes, sir.
that
I'll go and do the needful.
Necessary correction and submit the paper for assessment and possible publication in the next edition of our journal. Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
While we await for Madam Geya, please, we will crave you the indulgence of the participant to actually go on a 10-minute break. We'll be back after 10 minutes. We'll be back after 10 minutes to actually continue with the presentations. Thank you very much. We'll actually go on break, on a short break. We'll be back. Thank you very much.
The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fat Polyeden. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fat Polyeden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fat Polyeden. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Fat Polyeden. Giving the best on technical education, paving ways for discovery of talents, diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Fat Polyeden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fetch Polyeder. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fetch Polyeder. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fetch Polyeder. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fetch Polyeder. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Fetch Polyeder. Giving the best on technical education. Paving ways for discovery of talents. Diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Fetch Polyeder. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fetch Polyeder. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fetch Polyeder. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fetch Polyeder. So dear to my heart are you. arise and take your place. You are the best, you are the best. Faithfully there. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Faithfully there. Giving the best on technical education. Paving ways for discovery of talents. Diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Faithfully there. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully there. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Faithfully there. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Faithfully there. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully there. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Faithfully there. Giving the best on technical education. Paving ways for discovery of talents. Diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Faithfully there. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully there. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Faithfully there. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Faithfully there. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully there. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Faithfully there. Giving the best on technical education. Paving ways for discovery of talents. diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Faithfully adhere. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully adhere. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Faithfully adhere. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Faithfully adhere. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully adhere. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Faithfully adhere. Giving the best on technical education. Paving ways for discovery of talents. Diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Faithfully adhere. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully adhere.
We have that engineer Kasim, but he has not connected his audio too. That engineer Kasim too. It's connecting audio. Where is that list now? I can't.
learning where great leaders are made. Fed Eden. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fed Eden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fed Eden. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Fed Eden. Giving the best on technical education, paving ways for discovery of talents, diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Fed Eden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fed Eden. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fed Eden. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fed Eden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fed Eden. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Fed Eden. Giving the best on technical education, paving ways for discovery of talents, diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Fed Eden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Fed Eden. The citadel of learning where great leaders are made. Fed Eden. We are the first among equals, raising great scholars to change the world, leading the way to all-round success. On knowledge, skills, and character we stand. Fed Eden. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully there. Vocational skill is our watchword. Proficiency in technical training. Faithfully there. Giving the best on technical education. Paving ways for discovery of talents. Diverse training on entrepreneurship. Stand on your feet and rise to the skies. Faithfully there. So dear to my heart are you. Arise and take your place. You are the best. You are the best. Faithfully there.
Engineer Al Hassan, you can please unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself, please. Engineer Al Hassan, please, you can unmute yourself. Let's know whether we can have your paper now. Kindly unmute yourself, please.
Okay, are you hearing me there over there?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you ready to present your paper now?
I'm ready, but it is going to be audio because I'm having a problem with my laptop here.
You don't have my number, you don't have my email.
Can you be listening to the audio there?
What do you say?
Can you be listening to the audio there over there since you have audio?
Yes, I can get your audio here clearly, please.
Okay, you can hear my voice, but
yes, your audio is clear here.
Oh, okay, can I start presenting using audio alone?
Okay, you're having challenges with
my laptop here.
Does it have anything to do with your video?
Yes. Actually, in fact, the it's not connecting. I'm using my phone right now.
Yeah, if you're using your phone, you can still share your video. That's why you're using your phone. You can share your video so that your visuals will appear on Zoom. This conference is actually streaming live on Zoom. You can share your video that you stream live on Zoom.
My PowerPoint will not be appearing, well?
Yes, your PowerPoint will not appear. You can just talk to your paper.
Okay, let me see.
Let us get a hold of your paper, and which I think you have to present a paper titled Development and Implementation of a Vehicle Anti-Theft System. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll actually look for the paper and I'll get back to you. Kindly hold on, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Engineer Hassan, please, you can go ahead and make your presentation now. Go ahead and make your presentation. Thank you.
Okay.
You are seeing my... Kindly,
okay.
I can see your visuals now as well as your audio is clear. Kindly, please stick to the guideline that we gave yesterday. Talk to your paper in 7 minutes. Tell us the cogent areas, your background, your statement of the problem, if it has the objective, your methodology, findings, conclusion, recommendations. Those are the things that we actually want you to tell us.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You can start your presentation now. Thank you.
All right, sir. From the topic of my presentation, I have development and implementation of a vehicle anti-theft system. A paper for presentation at the 19th Annual National Conference 2021 by Alas Abdullah Mohamed Aliu A and Mohamed Abakar A. Introduction. The automobile has brought convenience, mobility, and countless other social and economic benefits. Because of these factors and a host of others, the automobile has become an ubiquitous symbol of our culture. Unfortunately, the proliferation of motor vehicles also present opportunities for theft and criminal activity. For many years now, Nigeria has been facing theft of various kinds, most especially in the aspect of stolen vehicles. This is multifaceted with causes that are financial, structural, and socio-political. According to a statistic report, the report available indicates that about 1,246,096 motor approximate
Engineer, you can unmute yourself, please. You can unmute yourself.
Okay.
May I, on this note, inform Engineer Eso Kasim to be ready for presentation. We have been having challenges with your audio now. I can see you have audio now. Kindly be ready for your presentation after Engineer Al Hassan. Engineer Al Hassan, please, you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
Thank you. Continue the presentation, please. You can unmute yourself so that we can hear you. Something is actually muting you back. Yes, you can go ahead now, please.
Okay. According to a statistic report, the report available indicates that about 1,246,096 motor vehicles were stolen in the United States in 2002, up approximately 1.4% from 2001. Preliminary data for 2003 indicates that motor vehicle thefts in 2003 were approximately 0.9% higher than in 2002. These figures represent a steady increase in vehicle theft rates. There was a continued we are down nearly 1/3, that is equivalent to 30.7% from 1991. Some methods used by criminals to steal motor vehicles include: 1, theft of an unattended vehicle without keys. This is the removal of a parked vehicle either by breaking an entry, followed by hot wiring or other temporary methods to start the vehicle or exploring. Introduction continued. Theft with access to keys. This is the unauthorized use of a vehicle in which the owner has been forced to tender the key of his car. Opportunistic theft, the removal of a vehicle that the owner or operator has left unattended with the keys, visibly present, sometimes idly. Alternatively, some cars are offered for sale or stolen during a test drive. With the widespread and increasing rate of automotive anti-theft systems have become into general use. There are two basic types of automotive anti-theft systems, namely alarm systems. The burglar alarm systems for automobile usually are anti-theft devices which activate the vehicle on, and those which set off an auxiliary siren or bell. Regardless of which type it is, each one is connected.
Engineer Abdullah, please, can you please summarize your presentation, please? Let us have your findings, conclusions, and recommendations, please.
Okay, we have the description of the paper. So the system is such that the phone is used as an interface to the electronic circuit, while the electronic circuit is interfaced to mobilize or demobilize the ignition of weapon of the car. It involves the integration of different units, such as power supply unit, signal conditioner, monostable unit, launching unit, and switching unit to achieve the set goal. We have the circuit block diagram of the circuit as follows. It consists of two GSM phones. The GSM code actually called and
Engineer Hassan, please, thank you for that presentation. Thank you so much. Let me hand you over to the chairman for observations on your presentation. You can get a pen, note all those observations for possible corrections. May I, on this note, announce that we'll take Mrs. Geya, we'll take Malam Abdullah Isa Ahmed, we'll take Engineer Kasim after the presentation of Dr. Mohammed. We'll take all those presentations on this morning session before we leave. Thank you very much. We have been having challenges to your audio. I believe Madam Geya can hear me now. Engineer Kasim too, I can see your audio is clear. Malam Abdullah Isa, your audio too is clear. And I believe all of you can hear me. We'll take all your presentations this morning. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Let me hand you over to the chairman for necessary observations.
All right, sir.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Mokosho OS Junior.
Okay, sir.
The title of your paper is Development and Implementation of a Vehicle Anti-Theft System.
Yes, sir.
Very apt and relevant. But from your paper, I observed that you use construction. So is it development and construction or implementation? I think construction will fit in where you put implementation here. Because you have developed it, you have constructed it. And I think then the usage. So maybe you look at that. I want to tell you that our latest style of abstract writing now, based on the 7th edition, is double line spacing. Your abstract is in order, but make it double line spacing. It will be double line spacing, not single line, as previously used under the 6th edition. Then I observe you are numbering introduction 1.0, you know, system description 2.0, design. You don't need to number across all those numbering. It's an engineering work, which I feel is well prepared and, you know, brought out. But the technical part of the paper is what matters to me here in terms of writing. And then you have the construction 4.0, remove 4.0 and 5.0 under testing and results.
Okay.
Your conclusion, even though it's a construction work, you didn't bring out the objective of doing what you did. In other words, you didn't bring out the objective of actually trying to develop and construct that particular system. So you need to bring out the objective and let us know again, maybe under a little literature, what others have done in that area. Because I'm sure it's not new. Literature review will enable us to know what other authorities have done in that area and the area you are exactly trying to actually bring out as an improvement. And that will lead you to the statement of the problem of the paper itself, so which is not equally defined here. You didn't bring that out. That is that. Your conclusion, of course, you know, to be based on your objective, which you did not state. So I implore you to state the objective and the statement of the problem and do a little literature. I know it's engineering work, but a little literature will guide us, or through historical background, will guide us to know what authorities in your profession have done in this particular area, and then to see the improvement you are bringing out. It's good for you to construct an instrument or a system that can mobilize and demobilize vehicles. It's very good. Then we go to your reference. Your reference does not follow the APA at all. In some places, you write the full name, Alison Brown, Jacob Days. The APA frowns at that. It is the surname of the author first, followed by the initials, and so on and so forth. And when you are quoting a book, you must italicize the title of the book and possibly tell us the edition. If it is a journal, you must italicize the title of the journal and tell us there is a style we write it. You know, we used to write in bringing out the volume and the number. That is not reflected in this paper. You use full name in some areas. In some, you start with the initials, which is also wrong. In some, you start with, the surname. Like this one, you said Marco Wolf. All those ones can only happen under Keturabian, but we are using APA style, the American Psychological, Association. And based on the 7th edition, is the reference does not meet that standard. So you help us to correct that. You miss it together, but I think it's something you can easily correct. Then finally, you have a conclusion. We didn't see any recommendation. A paper of this level should give us some recommendations. And that is equally why your statement of the problem is necessary, the objective is necessary, and a little historical background of literature review. I want to commend you for your presentation, and thank you for the research you have done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome, sir. Let us.
Thank you, Engineer Al-Hassan. I want to implore you to kindly take note of those observations and correct the paper accordingly, while you can return them for assessment and possible publication in the next edition of our journal. Thank you very much for your participation. I wish you well. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, sir. Let us.
And I will apologize for this. I want to take Mrs. Geya now. She is the second person that I ought to have taken today, but we have been having challenges with our audio. So Mrs. Geya, please, can you unmute yourself now? Let us have you now. Let us have your presentation now.
Okay,
Can
good morning.
Can you share your video as well? Can you please share your video?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please. You can share your video as well.
Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
I can hear you, please.
Okay, can you see my video now? Can you see my video?
Not yet, please. Not yet. Yes, I can see. I can have your video now. Thank you. You can as well smile and breathe a sigh of relief for finally connecting. It is actually a battle well fought anyway. Because I have actually been now taking you as number 6 or 7 is actually apologetic. I apologize for that. But it was actually due to the network challenges or technical issues from your end. Madam Geya, please, you have 7 minutes. We have rolled out a guide on your presentation. Kindly talk to your paper, tell us the background, tell us the objective, statement of the problem if you have, tell us the methodology, the findings, conclusion, and recommendations, please. We want it to be as brief as possible. Thank you very much. God bless you. You can start your presentation now. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm presenting on the topic data mining and business performance, a theoretical review. Data mining refers to extraction of explicit information from database to be transformed into an understandable.
Sorry, please. We could not get your name. We couldn't get your name. We couldn't get your institutional affiliations, please. We cannot get your name and your institutional affiliations. You can assist us. Let us have your name and your institutional affiliations.
Okay, including my co-authors?
No problem. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Gihia Emmanuel Fili, and my co-authors are Samuel Abraham Adegbili and Moses Baidu Suleiman from Federal Polytechnic, Mubi, Adamawa State, Nigeria. Okay, I'm presenting a paper titled Data Mining and Business Performance, a Theoretical Review. Data mining refers to extraction of explicit information from database to be transformed into an understandable feature for decision making. That is mining knowledge from database. When we say data mining, it means extraction of information of interesting knowledge that could help in decision making. So, statement of problems. We have chains of business data are piling up in organizations every day. Therefore, it becomes necessary to develop means of analysis and interpretation of such data to extract relevant knowledge that help in decision-making and also evaluate business performance. Therefore, in response to the increasing number of business and the need to measure performance, the utilization of information technology becomes necessary. That is where data mining becomes necessary. So the enormous amount of data stored in files and data bases need technology like data mining, also known as knowledge discovery in data. That's the KDD, for the extraction of interesting knowledge that could help in decision making. So the main objective of the study is to show how large data are managed and meaningful information extracted from such database to measure business performance. The specific objectives include the steps involved in data mining and the application of data mining techniques to measure business performance. So this data mining comprises of statistics, the human intelligence, statistics and the human intelligence. The classification of data mining. Data mining can be classified according to the source, that is the source of the data mined, classification according to the model drawn. It could also be classified according to the knowledge discovery of the data. So the methodology used, the paper is a theoretical paper that reviewed relevant and related literatures on the topic. Now, the findings based on the literatures reviewed, the paper found that data mining is a process that involves data cleaning, data integration, data selection, and also data representation. So the paper recommends, the paper concludes the recommendation of the paper. The paper recommends that data mining can be applied and be useful in other areas like government, banking, manufacturing, for drug analysis, and also diagnosis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Geya. At least the wait was actually worth it. Thank you. Are you aware you have 2 papers to present today?
Yes.
You still have a session.
And this one that I'm having issues with network, can I go ahead and present the second one?
Stay where you are. Possibly you can still hang after you for this morning session. If we can accommodate you, we'll take you during this morning session. But if we cannot, you still help us go to this exact same space that you are. I believe the network there is anointed, so we can actually have you there.
I pray I'll come from the anointing.
Yes, I pray along with you as well. I will even start to make it come to reality. Thank you. Let me hand you over to the chairman for observations. While you make a note, you can make a note of those observations. Not make corrections and forward the paper back for publication in the next edition of our journal. Thank you. The chairman, sir.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Geya Emmanuel, presenting on behalf of others. My name is Dr. Omotoso Oluyemi Jr. Let me help you, thank God. They say your paper is anointed, or it's in your space. So I hope you'll be able to present the next one. On this paper, let's look at your abstract. And I want to advise you when you are presenting, just speak to your abstract. The abstract contains everything you want to say. So whether they say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you are covered and you have done a good abstract here. The only thing that is wrong with the abstract is that the 7th edition of the it should be double line. The abstract yeah. Okay. That it should be double line spacing, and then you don't need to italicize it. It should be the standard format. That is about your abstract. all the necessary ingredients are there, but make it double line spacing. Your citation is still in order, and then your literature review is robust and is still in line with the latest edition. Again, a paper of this magnitude we expect you to bring out the objective, main objective of the paper. Although it's embedded in some parts of the paper, but it will be better if you bring it out as a subtext. That would be a better way of understanding the paper. And then I observed that you didn't tell us as robust as the literature review is, you did not actually bring out the real problem you are trying to solve, apart from the title. The title is clear, but you are supposed to bring out what we call statement of the problem, explain it, specify it, and explain it properly. Now, that we will have guided you about your conclusion and recommendation. The recommendation is not equally stated. There is no recommendation here, it's just conclusion you have. And in your presentation, you said recommendation. I want you to add recommendation as a subhead, please. After the conclusion, put your recommendation and let it be specific, paragraph by paragraph, maybe about 2 or 3. Your topic is technical and is relevant and current. And you say it's a theoretical review. So if you want to do a theoretical review of this nature, can you note this? You can bring out the conceptual review and then the theoretical review. And I think you understand what I mean by the conceptual review. We accommodate all the concepts that we really want to know about this, your work that I say is technical. And then the theoretical review will enable you to bring out some theories that can guide readers about this topic. And so that will make it complete. If you like, you can change the literature review to empirical review. Are you with me? So if you have conceptual review, you have theoretical review, then it is better to have, empirical review. The empirical review is just like literature review. No, the other two will enable you to bring out the concept, while the theoretical review will enable you to bring out like one relevant theory or two, and then you explain, so that your reader will be conversant deeply with what you mean by data mining and business performance. Very, very current paper and relevant. I thank you for your presentation, and I hope you take note of those. Then your reference, finally. Your reference does not follow the APA style. The APA style has its own methodology. One, if you are doing a book, you have to tell us, like you did here, the surname of the author, followed by the initial, followed by the year of publication in brackets, which you have done, and then followed by the title of the book, which should be italicized. The title of the book should be italicized. If it's a journal, the title of the journal should be italicized. You took care of italicizing the title of your journal here, one place. You didn't take care of it in the other places. And then where you have a book, you did that partially, and where you put second edition, you didn't put it in brackets. So I want you to go and download the 7th edition of the APA. It will guide you a lot. So many things are changing, and I'm not blaming you for that. It is not our own style. It is the American Psychological Association. They change regularly, and we just have to follow their changes, and that is what will guide us. So when you are editing a paper yourself, you will be armed with that instrument, because it's the instrument that guides us. Thank you very much again for your presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, the chairman. Madam Gia, I think we have a stable network here. Let me hand it here. We'll meet in the afternoon. I actually send the Holy Spirit to that place to hold the network for. I believe they'll still be at work till the afternoon session when I have you again. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. God bless you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now I'll take Dr. Mohammed, please. Dr. Mohammed, please, you can unmute yourself and let us have your presentation. You can as well share us your audio, please, ma. You can share your audio so that we can have your visuals on our YouTube channel. You can share your video, sorry, you can share your video so that we can have visuals of you on our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Chairman of session, Mr. Moderator, good morning. The title of this presentation is Human Rights Dimensions of Security Challenges and Girl-Child Education in Nigeria. The paper is authored by three, my humble self, Dr. Mrs. M.J.O. Mohammed, Mrs. C.O. Oyelekon, and Mrs. Omolola Ojo. Mrs. Omolola Ojo is here with me to do the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We can actually have Mrs. Omolola. Can you please share your video? Kindly share your video so that we can have your visuals on our YouTube channel. And kindly please adhere strictly to the guide we released earlier, please. I can see Mr. Omolola, you can unmute yourself, share your video, and let us have your presentation. Thank you. Kindly adhere strictly to the guide we raised earlier. Tell us your name and your institutional affiliation, your background, your objective, statement of the problem, findings, conclusion, recommendations quickly. Go ahead, please. You can start your presentation now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mrs. Omolola Ojo, and I'm speaking from the Federal Polytechnic, the School of Business Studies. Hello. The statements of the problem. Yes, I need light. The statements of the problem is generally about insecurity.
Kindly unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I've done that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay, statements of the problem. The general title is Human Rights Dimensions of Security Challenges and Girl-Child Education in Nigeria. And the statements of our problem is kidnapping, abductions, and raping, which are all resultant effects of insecurity, are largely targeted at girls. Sorry. So it's largely targeted at the girl child, which has resulted in low enrollment by girls, which has continued to widen the gender the gender gap for the female education. That's the statement of our problem. Then our
Go ahead,
objective.
please. Go ahead, please. We can hear you. You can flow with the trend of events, so we can hear you. Don't mind whether we hear you or not. We can hear you clearly.
All right.
Just continue to flow and talk to your paper. Thank you.
All right. The objectives of the study is to highlight the security challenges and the human rights implications on girl child education in Nigeria. Then the second objective is to promote women's right to education in every sphere of human endeavor, with a view to educating more women and girls and breaking gender gaps in education. Then our findings. The paper has found, number one, that there is insecurity, that insecurity has gender-specific impact on girl child education, which mostly results in violation of the right to access quality education. Then the paper has also found that right to education is a human right available to girls. Generally, we have fundamental human rights under the Nigerian Constitution, but particularly the right to education is a human right which is available to our girls. That's another finding from the paper. Then conclusively, our conclusion is that the effect of insecurity so far has been targeted at discouraging girls from going to school or from developing themselves fully in all professions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ojo, for your presentation. I have to observe you here. Thank you so much. We don't want to waste our time further. Since you're an internal person, the man of this technical session will do justice on your paper and will get it across to you so that you can make necessary corrections on it. Thank you. Let me quickly call on Engineer S.O. Kasim. Engineer S.O. Kasim should please, you can unmute yourself, Engineer Kasim, and make your presentation quickly. You have 7 minutes to do that. Engineer Kasim, you can unmute yourself now. Engineer Kasim. Engineer Kasim, you can unmute yourself, please. Engineer Kasim, please unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself. Thank you very much, sir. You are to present a paper titled Implementation of a Sustainable Security Architecture Using Radio Frequency Identification, RFID technology for access control. Am I correct, sir? You can go ahead and make your presentation, sir. Your audio is not, we cannot have audio from you, sir. We couldn't get your audio. We could still not have your audio. We cannot have your audio still. Thank you, sir. I think this paper is co-authored with Abdullahi Isa Ahmed. Can we make use of his own device too? If we can make use of his own device to get audio, I'll appreciate that. Abdullahi Isa Ahmed, you can unmute yourself. Abdullahi Isa Ahmed, you can unmute yourself. Let us have you. Abdullahi
Hello,
Isa Ahmed.
Hello, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now, please. You can go ahead now, please. There are two devices from your end there. You can please disengage one while you make use of one. This is jamming.
Okay, can you hear us now?
We can have video and audio on the device of Abdullah Isa Ahmed. You can please disable that of Engineer S.O. Kasim so that we will not have echo. Thank you. Continue to make your presentation on Abdullah Isa Ahmed. You are live now, please. That has been disabled. You are live now. We can hear you now, live and clear.
We have a slide to share for the presentation. So if you unmute, that means we can't.
You can go ahead and share your slide, please.
But the slide is on the this thing that you just mute.
You can go ahead and talk to your paper instead of sharing the slide, please, because of our time.
Hello?
I can hear you. You can go ahead and talk to the paper without the slide.
Okay, it's okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. The paper before you is implementation of sustainable security architect using a radio frequency technology for access control. Authored by Asim Shakir Olajide. Co-author, we have Aisha Samaila Idris and Abdullah Isa Ahmed from Department of Computer Engineering Technology, Federal Polytechnic Damaturu. For this presentation, we were looking at the presentation in hello?
Go ahead, please. I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. For the presentation, we were looking at the construction of access control using the radio frequency identification technology. So from as an introduction, the radio frequency identification is just a technology which is an inbreed from what we have in our auto identification procedures, which are mainly used for providing information about people, animals, and goods, and what have you. Most especially, they find application in the logistic industries, manufacturing companies, and material flows. So the main concept of radio frequency identification of this particular paper is to see how we can enhance the radio frequency identification technology to enhance security of any facility. So it is a very simple technology, which is less expensive, and as shown, it has been confirmed that it has a greater performance and success in various applications it has been used. For the radio frequency, the RFID technology actually consists of 3 component parts. We have the tag, the reader, and the personal computer. The tag actually is the one that it reads and writes information. I mean, the reader reads and writes information from the tag. At the same time, the computer is the main service host for the whole system. So the design consists of 2 parts. We have the hardware design and the software design. The hardware design consists basically of tags and the RFIDs, while the software part, which is interconnected interface with the radio frequency identification reader via a USB cable, has the application software part and also the RFID events manager. And all these are interlinked to the DBMS MySQL system. So the main system application software event control flow consists of the main admin, the one that actually configures and assigns different levels of tags, register and create IDs for staff and also for guests, which can give them access to a particular facility. Similarly, it also has a configuration for staff so that staff can have access to a particular place. And the access control itself is such that once someone comes into the system, it recognizes the person and save it in the database of the system. Now, the overall
Engineer Kasim, kindly tell us your findings, conclusion, and recommendations. Please,
the results and discussion. The findings from the results conducted, we realized that the RFID tag has a good response for a distance of about 1.5 meters, which is 150 centimeter. And it shows that the antenna the reader can read better when the angle between the tag and the reader is about 0 degree, and it has a better read range of about 1.5 meter. Similarly, the result also shows that you can actually configure and assign tags to details. I think you have my slide, you have seen a window showing how the tags look like, how their configurations look like. Then finally, the performance of the system shows that you can actually assess, once somebody assesses the facility, you can have a clear record of all the accesses made by the person, and you can know whether the person was there twice or thrice. And finally, as a conclusion, this system is such that the configuration of my antenna and my reader has a compatibility distance of about 1.5 meter. And the system application was able to, we were able to use the system application to configure different IDs for both staff and guests. And the system, it shows that the reader is actually scanning any particular tag that comes within this vicinity. And
thank you for your presentation. I think I have to observe you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Let me hand you over quickly to the chairman of this technical session for observations.
Hello, thank you, but I have an observation. Sorry, I have an observation I want to make. Hello, can I make an observation?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, I expect that this particular conference should give us room to present our slide, our PowerPoint slide for presentation. I think this is standard for presentation today.
We are not saying you should not share your slides.
I try to slide
challenges with the device that will actually make you share the slide.
We
are on the podium already, and we are trying to maximize our time.
I agree with you, but from your end, you have disabled the sharing link.
We cannot, from our end, that is a control measure from this place.
But you are supposed to allow room for sharing of slides.
We'll allow participants to share slides once a participant is so the challenge we have with you is that the device that has your slide is not actually the one you use to present. You have challenges with that. That is the reason why we have had presentations today. People have shared their slides. So we are not actually discouraging people from sharing their slides. That is not our standard. But because you are having a peculiar challenge from your end, that is why it is like that. We apologize for that. I want to maximize our time. Thank you. We apologize for that. Let me hand you over to the chairman for observations while you take note of that. Chairman, please.
Thank you very much for a very good presentation. I think that is Mr. Abdullahi Issa Ahmed presenting on behalf of others. Good presentation, sir. I only want to talk about your abstract in relation to the latest 7th edition of the APA style that we are using. And the latest method says that your abstract should henceforth be double line spacing. Are you with me, sir? Are you with me? That should be double line spacing, and then that's the latest now. And in your keywords, please, the use of abbreviations is not allowed. The words you want to use as keywords should be clearly written out, not abbreviated. Then line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your abstract say, this work shall, it would have been better to use present continuous. This work focuses. Then your literature review is okay. I have no problem with your methodology, but I don't know. You know, engineering people is like, don't like sharing your objective. Well, this paper will be better if you share the objective by saying objective of the study and write it there clearly. That will help you when you are working on your conclusion. All the diagrams and the charts illustrating the implementation of the sustainable security architecture in relation to the RFID are well presented and well analyzed. Now, because you don't have objective and statement of the problem, your conclusion dwell more on the general ideas than exactly what you are trying to do, but it's still in order. But the point is, please help us include objective of the study and possibly statement of the problem that we define actually the problem you try to solve. In fact, your reference is perfectly in order. And you know, you have a conclusion, but please help us add recommendation, even if it is one. Add some recommendation, create a subhead as recommendation and put one or two recommendations. I think with that, I want to thank you for your presentation. Everything about the 7th edition of APA says double lines spacing. So in your reference, you change all the single line spacing there to double line spacing. Thank you.
Thank you, the chairman. I think it is on this note that we want to draw the curtain for today's technical session for this morning. We'll reconvene by 1 o'clock, but we'll be online from 12:45 to reconvene by 1 for the afternoon technical session. May I, on this note, thank all participants, and especially the chairman of this technical session, as well as the Dean, School of Business Studies, for being with us here. I want to commend the efforts of Mr. Madu, Mr. Ibanuji, Mr. Bankefa, Mrs. Oluka for putting things together. I want to equally appreciate the chairperson for connecting with us on Zoom, despite she's not physically present here. She has been with us on Zoom here since morning. I want to thank you especially too. I want to appreciate Madam Geya, Mr. Olainka David, Mr. Bello Mohammed, Mr. Abdullah Isa, Engineer Kasim, and Mr. Alatuji for all the presentations we've had. Engineer Ali Mohammed, you are welcome. It is we actually, I commend all of you and I appreciate you for this participation. I hope we'll do it again in the afternoon together by 1 o'clock. Thank you. God bless you all as we draw the curtain for this technical session. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon. We'll reconvene by 1 o'clock by the